Imagine traveling hundreds of miles on a Catholic pilgrimage. You book a chapel. You prepare for Mass. Everything seems ready. Then suddenly, you're told the Mass cannot take place. That is what recently happened in the Spanish city of Ávila, and it has sparked fresh debate about the future of the traditional Latin Mass. The story involves Father João Silveira, a missionary priest known for helping establish Latin Mass communities around the world. He was accompanying a group of American pilgrims visiting Ávila, one of Spain's most important spiritual cities. The group had already arranged to use a chapel, but they were informed that offering the traditional Latin Mass required permission from the local bishop. So Father Silveira contacted diocesan authorities. According to the priest, the Vicar General told him that the traditional Latin Mass was prohibited in the Diocese of Ávila. The policy reportedly comes from Bishop Jesús Rico García, appointed in 2023. For Father Silveira, the decision raised immediate questions. Why was the Mass prohibited? Under what authority? And if the traditional Latin Mass has not been officially abolished, why could it not be celebrated for pilgrims in a chapel? The priest pointed out that Ávila is closely linked to Saint Teresa of Ávila and Saint John of the Cross. Both saints lived long before modern liturgical reforms. He argued that if this form of worship helped shape great saints, it is difficult to understand why it is now restricted. Unable to use the chapel, Father Silveira indicated that the group ultimately celebrated Mass in a hotel room. He questioned whether moving the liturgy from a sacred place to a secular location truly benefited anyone. Would God be honored more in a hotel room than in a church? Would the faithful be better served worshiping around a table instead of an altar? The incident quickly became part of a larger discussion across the Catholic world. At the center of the debate is who has authority over the traditional Latin Mass. Supporters of restrictions point to Pope Francis Traditionis Custodes. That document gave bishops broad authority to regulate or restrict the traditional Latin Mass within their diocese. Critics point to Pope Benedict XVI Summorum Pontificum, which stated that the 1962 Roman Missal had never been formally abolished and that priests did not need permission for bishops to celebrate it privately. Many traditional Catholics also reference Quo Primum, a historic document defending the traditional Roman rite. Because of these differing interpretations, the debate remains highly controversial. Father Silveira argued that situations like this create confusion and frustration among faithful Catholics. He said many Catholics attached to traditional worship often feel excluded despite assurances that everyone is welcome in the Church. The priest called on Pope Leo XIV to address what he views as abuses of authority and to bring greater clarity to the issue. That request reflects a broader movement among traditional Catholics. For several years, bishops, priests, and lay faithful have appealed to Rome for wider access to the traditional Latin Mass. Some have asked Pope Leo to reconsider restrictions introduced under Pope Francis. So far, however, Pope Leo has remained largely silent. Observers say he is taking time to listen before making any major decisions. As Catholics continue to wait, situations like the one in Ávila highlight the tensions surrounding one of the Church's most debated issues. For one group of American pilgrims, the controversy was no longer theoretical. A pilgrimage that was supposed to include Mass in a chapel ended with worship in a hotel room. And for many Catholics, that raises a larger question. What role will the traditional Latin Mass have in the future of the Church?